If you have a lot of messages currently in your inbox that you want to move all at once, I'm going to show you how you can take those messages and move them all at once to one specific label. If you find that you receive a lot of messages from one specific sender, I'm going to show you how you can take those messages and bypass the inbox and go right to a label so you don't feel so overwhelmed by the number of messages currently in your inbox. Let's dive in. So the first thing that I want to talk about though is how to create a label. So over on the side, you click on More and you scroll down to the bottom and you have Create New Label. From here, under Enter Label Name, I'm just gonna call mine Google, and I'm going to create my label. Now, I can move this a couple of ways. The one way that I can do it is I can simply just grab a message and drag it over to the label, and it will automatically move into that label. Another way that I can do it is I can click on the top, on the message itself, I can choose the label, and then I can click on Google and click Apply. From here, I'm just going to delete it from my inbox, so I'm going to undo the inbox. Another way that you can do it is if you find a message that you want, you can right-click on it, and then here you can say Move to Google. And then it will automatically move to Google that way. So those are some ways that you can move messages right away to a label that you have already created. So you can see here that number 2 on the side means I have 2 unread messages in that folder. It doesn't tell me how many messages I have in the folder. It just tells me that I have 2 unread messages. But if we want to move bulk messages all at one time, here's what we do. You go up to your settings, which are at the top. They look like a little gear. And we need to go a little bit deeper into our settings, so we click on See All Settings. Then at the top, we have filters and blocked addresses. But before we get there, in your inbox, all of your Google Classroom messages have this little parenthesis classroom. So I'm just going to copy that we're going to use that as our filter. So I'm going to copy that, go back to my settings, click See All Settings, then filters and blocked addresses. I want to create a new filter. Then the From area, I'm just going to paste in the parenthesis classroom word. Then I'm going to click Create Filter. Now from here, the first thing that I want to do is I want to skip the inbox. Then I want to apply the label. Now here, if I choose my label, I only have one label that I have made, and it's called Google. But if I want to create a new label, I can click on this, I can click New Label, and I'm going to call this Classroom. And then I'm going to nest it underneath Google. So nesting is a way that you can have a main label, but then also have many labels underneath that primary label. So I'm going to click Create. Now you can see down here at the bottom, I have 32 matching conversations. So if I scroll down just a little bit over on the side here, okay, so I've got this from Google. I'm going to go back and do this real quick, create my filter, skip, apply the label, Google Classroom, and then down here at the bottom, I wanted to move up my inbox so you could see Apply Filter to 32 Matching Conversations. I'm going to click on, mark the box, and I'm going to click Create Filter. Now you might have to give it a minute for this to kind of work itself out, but in your classroom, you should see all of the messages that get moved here. So that took a minute, but you can see now, look, 30 messages that got filtered into that classroom folder. So all of my Google Classroom messages are in that folder. If I go back to my inbox, I can look through and I don't have any Google Classroom messages in my inbox anymore. All I have are other messages, which I can easily move around if I want to find other messages to get filtered out. But you can see that the 30 messages that I currently had got a label applied to them. So let me just go through this one more time for you. So you go on the settings, and I'm just going to, for this one, I'm just going to use this. I'm going to use Jamf as the label. So I'm going to copy, go up to my settings, See All Settings, Filters and Blocked Addresses, Create New Filter, from Jamf, paste, Create Filter. I'm going to skip the inbox. I'm going to apply a label. I'm going to create a new label. And I'm going to call this new label Jamf. Create. Apply all. Also apply filter to matching conversations. And I'm going to create filter. So you can see there that 235 of my messages went into that JAMP filter. And so now my inbox is down to 98 messages. Just a quick way for you to be able to filter messages in your inbox. They haven't been deleted from your inbox. They have just had a label applied to them. So go ahead and kind of play around with the filters and labels and see what kind of interesting ways you can get to clean up your inbox. Thank you for tuning in this week. As always, you can find me on Twitter at ReynoldsTroy. Find old episodes of the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. You can follow me on Instagram at ednewsstand, and you can download my app and stay up to date with my content by scanning the QR code or by going to ednewsstand.glideapps.io and saving the app to your home screen. You can also find all my resources I just mentioned in my newsletter and watch the video I made on my website at ednewsstand.weebly.com. I'm Troy Reynolds. We'll see you next time on the Ed Newsstand Podcast.